Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. So I was going to do a separate video, but then I saw this article and I said, let me read it and comment on it, right? Plus, I'll talk about my target and so let me talk about that before I begin. So earlier on, la- last night, which was Saturday night, I was on the phone with the kids. We were talking for a little bit. Okay, come to find out that my son Ethan has a play date today, Sunday. I'm doing this video like after 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay. Um, come to find out he has a play date. So I said, okay, well, how you never? I spoke to him. I said, why didn't you tell me? He says he forgot. So I said, well, who is this? Who are you going to? Because they're going to Prospect Park. I said, who are you going to Prospect Park with? Which one of your friends? He was like, a friend from school. So I said, which one of your friends? So I'm like, okay, is it the same friend that you went to hang out with that day? And he was like, no. I was like, well, who is it? He was like, well, it's not a he, it's a she. I said, okay. Um, did your mother speak to your friend's parents? He was like, no. I said, why not? I said, did her mother, because he said that her mother's going to be at the Prospect Park. I said, okay, did her mother uh, ask to speak to your parents? He said no. And I have an issue with that. Okay. And so I told him, I said, before you leave that house tomorrow, you make sure that you call your friend. Okay. You make sure that you get that your mother speaks to her, that she gets her contact number. Okay. Because I had to tell him, I said, listen, you need to be very careful. And for your safety, you need to start thinking critically. Okay. So you're going to Prospect Park to meet your school friend, who's a girl. She's going to be there with her mother. Yet, her mother did not even say to you, hey, Ethan, uh, let me speak to your parents, okay, to make sure that it is okay. And this is what black women do in our community, okay? And I've talked about this, others have talked about this, right? Because again, when black women have daughters, okay, they'll try to push their daughters onto young boys who they think is cute, right? And they always trying to play matchmaker with their daughters. Now my son is 13 years old. Her daughter's probably the same age, maybe 14 or what have you, right? And the fact that her mother, okay, as 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 a parent, wouldn't even say to my son, have your parents call me or let me speak to your parents um, to ask if it's okay. And then Pam now, Ethan, she's. I said to her, I said, you know about this? She said yes. I said, and you didn't mention it to me. No, I forgot. She forgot to. I'm like, really? So I said to her, I said, did the girlfriend contact you? No. I said, okay, so you're gonna let him leave the house. You don't know who he's going to visit in Prospect Park, right? You don't even have any contact number. As if something happens to him, then what? If you can't, I can't get in touch with him. You can't get in touch with him. You have no contact number to the parent who he's going to meet with her daughter, and you think that's okay? You think that's fine? I don't quite get it. And her main concern is wanted to join whatever. I mean, which is fine, but that shouldn't be your main priority right now. Is making sure your kids are safe. Making sure if your son is going out, your daughter's going out, you need to know, particularly if they're teenagers, okay, going to meet some other kid with, you get their parents' number, you get a contact number. Fundamental things like that. You should know as a parent. But a lot of our parents, even in the, you know, growing up, didn't think like that. And it's just within our community, particularly the black community, the European community, this is their mentality. That they just let their teenagers run off with whoever, don't even know who, where they're going, And like I said, because of how we're conditioned, how we're raised, do we gotta ask yourself, do these parents really love their children? I mean, I told him, I said, don't you leave that house without giving your friend's mother contact number. Make sure that your mother speaks to her before you leave that house. But we'll see what happens. Okay. And then to just find those things out, like I said, I can always know when they're trying to test me or give me some type of test, right, to see how if I'm going to react, if I'm going to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to go with you. I'm like, he lives with his mom, he doesn't live with me, right? And this is why our black children are failing, because being raised in single mother's household where the mothers don't even think about those things like this. Like I had to ask her about. I said, "Did the kids read today? Did they read?" She's like, "I help with his math homework." I said, "Okay, but did they read?" That's the thing. It's like it's not just helping them, but making sure that they read also, making sure that they study, doing all those things. All right. I mean, and again, when you're doing those things, you need to do it because you're concerned about your kids' education, not because you're trying to impress people now, not because you're trying to say, okay, well, I help my kids with their homework, you know, and you need to be consistent, and that's the thing. 80% of black boys raised in single parents household, okay, the vast majority of them failing in school, no discipline, no structure. All right. So anyhow, and then after I finished speaking with her, of course, about half an hour later, the police showed up, sirens, all that stuff. All right, so I talk about the infiltration of these cults within society, within businesses, within organizations, right? And even within uh, civilian complaint review boards, that their job is to review cases of police officers violating the rights of citizens, right? Violating the rights of the general public. Okay, and so here you see in this story that came up March 18th. Okay, Civilian Complaint Review Board dumped hundreds of cases on NYPD at last minute police sources. Okay, so the Civilian Complaint Review Board dumped hundreds of cases on the NYPD for review, with little time left for a decision on whether to discipline the officers involved. Now, why do you think the Civilian Review Board did that? Why couldn't they have give the NYPD those cases months ago? Right. So I want you to understand how the NYPD has infiltrated the Civilian Complaint Review Board, right, in order to uh, not punish officers who have engaged in violating the rights of citizens, right, or the general public, people in the general public, so that they won't be held accountable. Okay, so the Civilian Complaint Review Board dumped hundreds of cases on the NYPD for review, with little time left for a decision of whether to discipline the officers involved, police source told the Post. In one instance, the NYPD was fielding nearly 1,000 cases in a month from the Civilian Complaint Review Board, with less than 30 days to go before the required decision, the sources said. The CCRB even sent some cases for review after the statute of limitation has expired, the sources claim. The CCRB and the NYPD have 18 months to decide discipline against an officer accused of misconduct, with the legal clock beginning the day a civilian files a complaint. Word of a tight deadline came days after legal aid made public an analysis that found NYPD Police Commissioner Keisha Sewell sat on 346 cases where the Civilian Complaint Review Board substantiated police misconduct, allowing the officers to avoid punishment by letting the statute of limitation on the charges to expire. The last minute cases kept on coming even after concern of timely delivery have been discussed dating back to 2021. Okay? So just understand this, right? That when you have police department all across America who never want to be held accountable for the criminal conduct of their police officers, and whenever they conduct internal review, even when there is clear evidence that the police officers murder, uh, um, assault, okay, uh, um, raped, sold drugs, stole, okay, that whenever they investigate themselves, what happens? They will say that we did an internal investigation and the officer did no wrongdoing. Police departments cannot be trusted, and neither can, within some cities, the Civilian Complaint Review Board, because they have been infiltrated by the very same police department that they're supposed to be investigating these corrupt officers and these criminals with guns and badges. Okay? So again, as a TI, when they like to talk about or they try to run their false narrative, okay, through their propaganda, to their covert action, their covert psychological warfare and covert warfare against you as a TI in order to cover up the illegal experimentation and the non-consensual illegal microchipping. They love to talk about history. Make no mistake that their history, okay, is 1 billion times, and I say 1 billion times more than whatever narrative they're putting out there about you as a TI. Okay? All right, so with that being said, I will talk to you guys on the next video.